Hey everybody, Alyssa here from Becoming Memories. Thanks so much for joining me for another process video. This one is using my October How to Kill a Kit with Style, and this photo, which is one of my favorites. There is a filter on that photo. I put some kind of vintage filter on it, but oh, that hair and those sunglasses, I just love it. Okay, so this background is a piece of basil. I cannot remember the name offhand of this cardstock background, but anyhow, I started out with a plan here to make a grid style background using the Project Life cards from my kit, because of course that is my focus this month, is to use as many of those Project Life cards as possible. And I'm happy to report that I'm really making pretty good progress on that stack. And I also picked a color scheme here of green, blue, and yellow because of the colors in the photo. And there's a little bit of purple there from her seat, and that's okay. It's kind of complementary to those colors in that color scheme. Anyhow, so I'm trying to decide here on an arrangement, which is funny now because in retrospect, this is not how it ends up. But the idea here was to figure out where I wanted to put the gesso through the stencil to create a white background, some white hexagons on this darker background. And so I'll just tell you right up front, I cut a lot out of this video. There probably could have been another 20 minutes of footage of me just taking everything off and rearranging it and putting everything back on and taking everything off and rearranging it. This was just one of those layouts where, unfortunately, my original idea just didn't quite pan out the way that I intended. So right there, I'm just using the corner of that Project Life card to keep the gesso from going through a space in the stencil that I didn't want it to go through. And I'm using those baby wipes there to wipe off my stencil in between movements, I guess. Like when I move it, I don't want any gesso that has leaked to the back side to leave little marks on my background. And so, like it just did. See, I didn't do a very good job of cleaning it. So that's okay. I decided to just go with it and let it be a little bit messier. But I really, really love using gesso on a dark background through a stencil because you get a nice crisp image and you get that like bright white on dark, and I think it's just gorgeous. Kind of a sucker for light on dark anytime that I can do that, which is why I also love the Distress Oxides, because they show up on dark cardstock. So if you haven't yet checked out the Distress Oxide inks, you definitely need to get on that. I think there are Distress Oxide sprays now too, but I have not purchased any of them. I'm kind of afraid to start. I'm afraid to start on a new medium because, well, my pocketbook can't handle it. All right, so here's my gessoed background, and I'm going to skip over the part here where I dry this with my heat tool, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are back again. It's dry now, and I'm trying to put those Project Life cards back in the spot where they were. And as you'll see, I do not have very much success with this. But there we are. Now, in retrospect, it really wasn't too bad, and I probably should have left it this way. For whatever reason, I don't know, I just fought with this layout. I will be honest, I love this kit. I love this kit. However, in the month of September, I really didn't get to do very much scrapbooking. Anything that went up on my channel in the month of September was pre-recorded because we own a business and we hold semi-annual events, and we had our big event for the fall in September. And so September for me was pretty much a wash as far as scrapbooking. I really didn't make it into my room at all, other than to work, because I do my business and office type related stuff in the same area that I scrapbook. And so really when October hit, what I found was I was really just feeling kind of rusty, and like things were not flowing very well, and I just was struggling to get my groove back and my mojo back, or however you want to put it. So this kit was good for that, in the sense that it was a kit I really loved. I was working with product I loved. I was working with fun, bright colors. But I really did find that probably half of the layouts I did with this kit, I really just didn't love the outcome. But the good news is I'm getting my groove back. I'm getting back in the routine, and I am kind of feeling like the creative juices are flowing again. So always a good thing when that happens. So right now I'm really just flipping through everything in the kit, trying to figure out what happens next. And I end up here in just a second basically taking everything off, putting it back on, and so begins the adventure of this layout. I'm cutting this piece of cardstock. This is a piece of Swiss Dot. I don't think it's called Swiss Dot. It's from My Mind's Eye, which I'm pretty sure they didn't call theirs Swiss Dot. But anyhow, I'm cutting some banner ends in it. And I cut out one end, and then I used the piece that I cut out to kind of guide my cuts on the other side. And that's how I make sure that these banner pieces are even, like they're the same angles on both sides when I cut them. So, some wood veneer. These are some fussy cut pieces that I cut out of the Project Life cards at the very beginning before I started working with this kit. I had a night where I was wanting to do something, but I was not feeling creative, and so I took a whole bunch of the Project Life cards and I fussy cut out birds and flowers and all sorts of things from those, which actually has worked out very well. I've used most of them now, but almost done working with this kit at the time that I'm recording this voiceover, and I have used almost all of those things. So here I am now. I'm trying to get rid of that I'm your number one fan because I decided I didn't like that. And see, right there, I should have kept that right there, but I didn't. I guess it was just one of those nights where I just wasn't really liking anything. And I don't know. I probably should have quit and gone to bed and come back and looked at this the next day, and I probably would have liked it a lot more. That right there is a fussy cut, not a fussy cut, a silhouette cut label. Just kind of one of those things that I cut when I do pull out my silhouette. I cut several things that are just sort of multiple use things, and I keep little bags of them on my desk or in little dishes on my desk so that when I'm looking for a little piece for this or that, I can just kind of pull out these things that I've already cut. I would never probably end up pulling out my silhouette, connecting it, going through all the setup just to cut some little white labels. And so I just do it when I pull out my silhouette for a bigger cut. Same with stars, hearts, some of the more common words that I might use, like love, hello, things like that, in a scripty font. All that kind of stuff I do once everything is up and running. So here I go again. Moved another Project Life card around. And what you're going to see here in a minute is the video is going to jump, and it's going to jump to a whole other arrangement, and then it's going to jump back again. What I actually end up with is pretty similar to what I have right now, but not exactly. But I should have kept this. I really should have, because I kind of like it now that I'm looking at it on the screen. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. There I am again with that silhouette card. I think what was kind of throwing me off in retrospect is the way that those hexagons are on the background. What I should have done, and again, hindsight's 20/20, but I should have gone ahead and dried each section of hexagons. See, there we go. There's a little jump there, because I've now decided to try something different. What I should have done is dried each section of the hexagons completely so that I could make the adjacent section like butt up completely to it, and there wouldn't have been those gaps, if that makes sense. because I think maybe that was part of what was throwing me off, is how those hexagons are kind of in chunks in the background rather than being like all one continuous background. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So here I am trying a horizontal, and then I skip ahead again. I actually turned the camera off and started fidgeting around with it, and when I came back I had found this arrangement, and I apologize because you did miss some of me kind of playing around there and coming to this arrangement and a little bit of the embellishment. But basically, these are the same embellishments and the same cards that I had out all along. I just finally found an arrangement that I decided worked. So, like I said, I probably cut out 30 minutes or more of fidgeting around, and here we are. So this is the basic arrangement. As you can see now, I've just used the five Project Life cards, and I've kind of staggered them around the page. And it does sort of make the placement of those hexagons look a little wonky, but I decided I didn't care at this point. I was just so ready to get this layout done that I was like, I don't care. I'm going with it. So now I'm taking all those little fussy cut embellishments and I'm kind of layering them back up. That Together word is a puffy sticker from Ellie's Studio, and it is, it was on, let me see here, the Family Fun collection. That sheet is almost used up. I am trying to completely kill it this month with this kit, and that was kind of the basis for the title. So I decided to commit there. I'm sticking it down. There's the rest of that sheet, and because I'm kind of working on killing this, I decided to put the word thankful up there at the top. And I put that little plus sign because I intended at this stage for my title to be together, or thankful and together. And I end up changing that just slightly. You'll see here in a minute, because I wanted a little bit more color on the page, which I realize is hilarious because this is a very bright page, but you know, there we go. So, now I'm just starting to kind of glue down all of those embellishments that I've arranged. I really do like it at this stage. I probably, if I had it to do over again, I would definitely do something different with the background. But I like that color of the basil in the background, and I decided to just not mess with a good thing. So I glue that bird down there. I end up moving it, I think. Pretty sure I do. But it's kind of the story of this layout. Okay, so I'm just still gluing down all the little bits and pieces. And one of the things that I do like in this layout was I used those fussy cut pieces to sort of overlap the cards, like to kind of run off the edge of those cards. And that really makes the design feel a little more fluid. It kind of keeps it from feeling too boxy, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. And so like at the top where that orange flower is coming off the card, on the left where the yellow flower comes kind of off the card, and then again there with that bird on the bottom right, all of that sort of is what keeps this from feeling too boxy. So I'm trying to remember now what I'm doing now. Oh, here I was cutting a piece that I thought maybe I was going to use for journaling, and I didn't like that squareness of it, so I'm using my label punch to cut a label out of that notebook paper, which is better, but I end up not using that either, I don't think. Thought about tucking it under, again kind of as a way of kind of softening up the boxy edges of this paper, or this design, I should say. And maybe I thought turning it upside down would help, I don't know. This is one of those pages I really should have just quit and gone to bed and finished the next day. So now I pulled off that bird because I decided I wanted the other bird up above. And then it ripped my paper, so then I was looking for something to fill that space. And at the end of the day, I ended up putting the bird back on there, I think. These are some little labels from Pretty Little Studio that I've had for ages, and they're perforated. They come apart in kind of a rectangle, and I don't know, I'm just not crazy about that, so I end up cutting them out. See, look, there's that bird back again. And actually, on the video, I really like that label there, but I'm not sure that stays. I can't remember. So I'm filling in there at the bottom because I felt like it was a little bit lopsided. And, yep, see, the label comes off. Did you see me there just clench my fists? I was like really getting frustrated at this point. I'm like, I feel like I'm so close to finishing this and I just don't know what it needs. Those stickers there are from Heidi Swapp. They're from one of her storybook lines or storybook little journaling packets of cards and letters, numbers, things. Like they're for dates and for all of that. And anyway, I got them at Tuesday morning on clearance, and that one is what ends up staying there. And I do like it, actually. I like that it adds a little more soft edges, a little more roundedness to the entire page. Again, just kind of softening up that grid design. And then now I'm using some enamel accents from Ranger. They're similar to Nouveau Drops. When they dry, they look very much like enamel dots. And that color is Electric Lime, which isn't a color I'm able to use very often. And I have a new project that I'm starting where I'm going to work through every item in my stash in an entire year. And I'm going to film a video here very soon about how I do that, or how I'm going to do that, and give you an update. I actually, at this point, do know how many items are in my stash, and I have started keeping track of which ones I'm using. So you can watch for a video coming up on that very soon. And I'm excited because it's going to kind of knock me out of my habit of keeping my favorite items for last, or for something special that never happens and then they're not new anymore. And so I am going to use every item in my stash in this year, hopefully. So I will be introducing that series very soon and showing you how all of that's going to work. So there we go. I added those puffy stickers from Pinkfresh Studio. So now my title is I Am Thankful We Are Together. This is my fourth child. She's the last, and we almost didn't have her, but I'm so glad she's here with us. Don't know what life would be without her. And so now with some black spatters, that is the finished layout. Here are some photos for you. I hope you enjoyed this layout. I would love it if you liked this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.